Welcome, everyone. Today, I'm honored to have Sue Trumpfheller on the Invisible Architecture series, and she's going to talk about color. She's been here before and done a fabulous interview on labyrinths that was really well received in primary water. So today we're going to have her talk about her research for years on color. So welcome, Sue.
Thanks, Carol.
And I forgot, I'm Carol LaSalle, doing the interview with Sue. So, okay. So Sue, how did you get into color, and what made you like, because I just know you've been so into it and you've presented at many of the dowsing conferences on color and got so much research and knowledge on it.
It was an accident.
Oh, okay.
I signed up for a class at Saddleback Junior College. I was taking some of the health classes. And the class I took was canceled because there weren't enough people signed up. But we'd already come together. So we all decided to go to the library and check out books. And I brought a book home called Finding of the Third Eye by Vera Stanley Alder.
Oh, I remember that one. Yeah.
Was written in 1938, the year I was born. Oh, that gives me away.
That's how long she's been studying this.
And was fascinated. What she talked about was talking about color and how it influenced our bodies and, all our elements. And so I started exploring more. And then I met Steve Ross from World Research Foundation at a conference in an ARE, Casey's Center in Arizona, and met Steve Ross and told him what I'd found about the color. And he said, oh, you need to look into Dinshaw. And so that's the system I work with, Dinshaw. He worked with color, and his sons are still working with color today. And so I want to know anything, I just call Darius on the phone and get an update on what's going on. And one of the updates that's coming up recently, and the Dinshaw system is a light system. So we talk about, color through a lens. What's come up is that they've banned incandescent bulbs. So the color in the LED lighting distorts the color.
And this is in California, right?
No, worldwide or nationwide.
Because I remember like a couple years ago going to Arizona and people had me buy incandescent bulbs and bring them back. Well,
my supplier is now selling a kit for LED, but it's very expensive. So what I did is let me go and show you what I found yesterday. And I have one in my color box. Is a flashlight like this. And so
that's a good idea.
So I take the flashlight like that, and I probably will buy a new one, but I just went to Amazon and searched incandescent light flashlights. And I found this. And so then how you use it is I'll show you what I do is I made a little case like that, and I just slipped the color in.
Oh, okay.
And tape that to the front of the flashlight, and you're broadcasting. This one on the screen is green, but there's a whole set of colors, and I'll show that in a minute. But so the problem is solved by flashlight and the gels.
So you're shining the light through the color onto any part of your body that needs it, or what?
On the certain parts of the body. And the system of Dinshaw is written up in this book that has been condensed. Lots of things. This is the book where the coding for the lights you shine on your body are designated.
Yeah, I have that
so,
book. Yeah.
Yeah. And so it's coded, and for different ailments, there's 350 different ailments. And so that tells you what light to shine on your body. Friend of mine was having a hysterectomy, and so I tested the colors for her, and it was green and magenta. And she was very upset about the hysterectomy. And so we just shined the green and magenta on her body, and it calmed her down. And, you know, all the surgery and everything went well. And then and that's the colors listed for female problems.
So but you do it on a specific place on the body, right?
Yeah, and the book tells you places on the body to shine it.
And combinations, yeah.
Yeah, and so if I copied all the right things, we'll show you. No, it's not here. So anyhow, you take a picture of the body. It shows a picture of the body, and it's cut out in, you know, your head, your arms, your heart, you know. Yeah. It'll do different parts of your body.
So like a diagram of the body.
It's a diagram of the body, and it tells you what to go. So here's the color wheel. And so this is the color wheel that Dinshaw set up. It's 12 colors, and it's red, orange, yellow, lime or green, green, blue, turquoise, indigo, purple, magenta, and scarlet are the 12 colors that they break apart in the book. And that's what and everything is color. I mean, everything is frequency, sorry. And in that frequency, then it relates to the color. We live in a world of color. And so every part of your body has a different frequency. I mean, your heart, your lungs, they all have different frequencies. And so those would relate to the frequencies of the color. And that's what Dinshaw did in his system, was relating the colors to the body with great benefit. And there are so many stories about great success with the colors on the body.
Didn't you also put it into water? You can shine
the light. Take the flashlight I just showed you. Take the color filter and put that over the thing and shine it into the water. And or you can put it out in the sun and put the color over the bottle of water, and you'll have, quote, green water, yellow water, magenta water.
Complete spectrum.
You can make this complete spectrum. The cool colors don't last very long, but then you can drink it. So some people make red water and blue water. And so when they wake up in the morning, they do red water to give them vitality. And before they go to bed, then they drink blue water because that's the oxygen and calming.
Mm-hmm.
And so they just work with their waters. I've done all kinds of different things with water. Water's just so magical.
Mm-hmm.
And then when you, and by the way, it doesn't change color. It just changes
You
frequency.
don't get blue water when you
You don't get blue water. There's no adding food color to your water. It's not, it's a frequency that changes in the water.
Mm-hmm.
And it does, well, it works on whatever part of your body needs that color. If you're drinking that water, it feeds you.
Mm-hmm.
So color feeds the
I
body.
seem to remember that you incorporated dowsing with this. For how long you left the filter on?
Yes.
You know, at
I
one
use
point
it.
I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's how long does it leave it in the sun? How long you want to refrigerate after you only want to drink a shot glass of it. Orange is a great color for constipation. Yellow is a good water for constipation.
Mm-hmm.
And so drinking yellow water, you only want to drink a shot glass full of it.
Mm-hmm.
And stay near the toilet because it does clear out. I had a client, she had a 4-year-old,
Mm-hmm.
and Christopher, they had to take to the chiropractor 2 or 3 times a week to get an adjustment. And so when he started drinking yellow water, he no longer needed to go to the chiropractor and get adjusted.
That's an interesting one.
Yeah, his dad joked and said, well, why don't we just take him to Mexico? I said, no, not the same water. But Christopher and that family used, Christopher's now in his 20s, maybe even 30s. They used water all the time for the kids
What's
and
one
for the
you
ailments.
use for high blood pressure? Everybody I talk to seems to be testing for it lately.
Yeah, I'll look it up, Carol.
Okay, it's probably blue, huh?
Might be, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'll see, but that's the color wheel that we use. And red, and like there's a relationship. Everything is like cayenne pepper is a red food.
Mm-hmm.
Cayenne pepper is also good for the heart.
I see.
I read an article the other day where they were recommending that if somebody's having a heart attack, put some chili pepper on their tongue.
Wow.
Because it snaps them out of it. So, so all these colors relate in different ways. Like vitamins have color, food has color. Like, well, blueberries, you know what color that is.
Mm-hmm.
But there's squash and pumpkin this time of year. And all these colors also feed the body. So when you're having a meal or, planning a menu, look at the colors of the food.
I remember Rudolf Steiner at one point, like equating the colors like to different planets, like when those planets were around or what was happening, like with the fruit and all of that. It was really interesting. He had a whole essays on that.
So here's a tray of color.
Mm-hmm.
Came out of my friend's garden.
Nice.
And so when you're thinking, if you need, need orange or red, you know, you can go to your food to get that. Yeah, this is my friend's garden in London.
Nice.
She's prolific with her food. So, but you can think of all these colors and how they relate to what the body needs. And, you know, if the book says you need, for instance, this color. This is a wall in my house, and that's cooling. That's what greets you when you enter my house.
Nice.
Is the indigo. So all these colors create a mood. They impact your emotions. You know, it. So this is I use a violet in my bedroom. But you can see how you can use all these different colors. This is one that's showing up. This color is showing up a lot these days as in bedrooms and
that's my last newsletter was on cobalt blue since the whole Lahaina thing.
Right.
And there you have it. Yeah.
There you have it. Now this is a painting, so it's a mixture of colors, but
right. But
you know, you can see the variety.
Like at the cars, and like they're gray, black, white, cream, and then cobalt blue everywhere. I mean, it's the color that very seldom.
Well, those were the colors that didn't burn in Lahaina.
Right, I know. But then I looked it up online, and cobalt blue is the fashion color for the year. So all of the clothes that the designers were making was cobalt blue. The cars that the manufacturers are putting out was cobalt blue. Kind of interesting.
Well, I heard I was listening to a radio show this morning, and the guy that talks about cars, and they were talking about, you know, cars being black or white or gray these days. And if you want to have a specific color, red, they're also red cars, you have to pay extra. So if you wanted a turquoise car or whatever, you have to pay like $700 or $1,200 to get a car with color.
Wow.
Yeah. So, but this is a color, this turquoise blue that I'm showing here is a color that is showing up in different places.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
so
go ahead. Continue.
Well, my favorite story, I think, is the one about orange. This woman wanted to go on a diet, and she didn't like the color orange. So she figured if she painted her kitchen orange, she would stay out of it and not go in and eat. What she did not know is that orange stimulates the appetite. So it didn't quite work. And it was an interesting, after I gave a talk, one talk I gave, a woman came up to me and she said, I want you to know that every time I go to work, I'm eating all the time. And she said, the carpet at work is that rust orange.
Oh.
And she said, so right on, you know, so knowing how you color and paint your room or your office or, you know, your whole environment is created around the colors that are, you choose,
Right.
You know, it has a great impact, and most people don't realize it, on their emotions. So, but the yellow for the constipation, and the orange also is good for menstrual cramps.
Okay.
My daughter was traveling cross country and she said, "Oh, Mom, I'm having terrible cramps." And I said, "What do you have in the car that's orange?" She said, "I have a can of orange soda."
Uh-huh.
And so she tucked that in under her seatbelt and it helped reduce the menstrual cramps. So, you know, men, talk to your wives or your sisters or your mother if they're having menstrual cramps. Orange put over. Some people buy orange underpants or just a cloth. Now's a good time to go to it's just before Halloween, to go to the fabric store and get a quarter of a yard of orange and tuck it in over your belly, and it helps the menstrual cramps. So anyhow, it passed my time, but yeah, it's saved a lot of people pain just by doing an orange cloth or an orange soda can. So you can do so many things with color, and advertisers know it.
Right.
They use it a lot. Watch the colors on the ads that flash on TV. And they also will go to a specific audience, a specific age group. They've got all the research. I don't have all that. I don't.
I remember one of those restaurant chains, which one was it, painted their walls pink because they knew that it like repelled and people would leave faster. They wouldn't sit around, like, just like how they had researched all that.
Yes, Madonna Inn. Madonna Inn up the coast in California. They've got the hotels, or they put big red roses on the floor. They use pink on the walls, and that gives it faster turnaround for the clientele. Yes, that's an interesting place to visit, by the way.
I remember when they had the whole thing with the salad bars, the colors, so people would take less and they made them rounded so they would move faster. And there's so much.
Well, they use lights. They'll use different colored lights on the vegetable bar. And it gives a different attraction to it makes the lettuce look greener.
Oh, okay.
So they can influence people's decision on what to take. So they put the colors on the cheaper vegetables, shall we say. And so it's used in advertising in all kinds of ways that we don't even suspect.
Right. Now they've got so sophisticated at it.
Right. Yeah. So but color greets you when you come into a business, and if you'll notice the hotels in their carpeting in their lobby, they don't want people hanging out in their lobbies, so they'll do the same thing that the restaurant owner did. By shapes and colors all have that impact. Yeah.
So with Dinshaw, he has such an interesting history. So you just want to go into that a bit, where he was from, what he went through, and then about how, with his sons actually carrying on his research.
Yeah, Dinshaw was from India. He came to the United States. He was a fireman, did a lot of work with color. He also had lamps. He would have like this he had glass filters. This is a plastic one, but he had glass filters that would go into his lamp, and he was selling them to doctors
Is this in India or in America?
in America after he came to the United States.
Hmm.
And so he had a nurse that traveled with him,
Mhm.
and they go around to different doctors' offices and marketed their lamp.
Hmm.
And funny thing that there's this medical didn't like it because they could they weren't selling drugs, they were just selling
Color.
they were just selling color. And so they destroyed. There was only maybe half a dozen of his lamps left. I think now there's only 2 or 3 that, but you can still, his sons, and they work together with the manufacturer, Roscaline, and they test these colors.
Okay.
So here's the green, the yellow, there's a green, and they've all been tested for their frequencies. So they know that this is green. And so
so you're getting the right shade.
So you're getting the right shade. And so he then went and did the book, Let There Be Light. And he talked about how all the different colors worked on the different parts, and they keep adding to the book. This one I have here is 12th edition. I'm not sure. They might be on 15 now. I don't remember. But his sons have carried on the distribution of his book and the information. I just got a color newsletter yesterday, but they can't sell. They don't allow him to sell color. He has to reference it off to retailers, which is.
I see. Okay. So when he was in India, did all of this research take place in India and he just brought it over to America?
If I recall right, he was it all happened here. He worked with the Children's Hospital of Philadelphia, and one of the doctors used it in her burn ward.
Oh.
And so there was a young girl who was burned, badly burned. And the doctor had her lay in, because she was scarred. I mean, there's pictures in the book, scarred over like 80% of her body. And they shone blue light on her. And over a period of time, all the scars disappeared.
And blue that's light, all documented, right?
All documented, all pictures. Well, the burn ward, there's a big burn ward in San Antonio, Texas, and they use blue light on all those burn victims.
Wow.
Because you think about the energy of blue, it's cooling. And so all the fire of the burn goes away. It's amazing how she looked at the end of the treatment. I didn't think to copy that picture, but I have it.
So with this light that you shine them through, they aren't selling that equipment anymore, right?
No, it's you have to put it together yourself.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I used to have a distributor in a wholesaler in LA that I could go there and buy it, but now it's some guy in Boston I talked to, and the source is getting slimmer and slimmer. But the need for it for color and in your health and well-being is, I mean, you don't want to have to rely on all the other
Well, it would have been a good one
sources.
for people to have during the pandemic when they were just home. You know what I mean?
Right, right.
And then it was really hard to go to hospitals and all of that. Mhm.
Yeah, yeah. I've sold lots of color filter sets and have heard lots of wonderful stories
Mhm.
about how color has been used um, in the to improve their well-being. One of the stories I know well is my mother had esophagus cancer,
Mhm.
and I used this combination on her, and she was, what word, rehabilitated
Mhm.
twice.
Wow. Mhm.
Yeah, twice. So, and I've heard other stories of how, you can use color for your well-being,
Mhm.
and uh, you you can even do it, the clothes you wear, um, like the color of Carol's wall
Mhm.
has a has an energy for her painting.
Mhm.
They all have a vibratory rate, and like um, vitamins have color. Like vitamin A is yellow, vitamin C is lemon, and so vitamin K is indigo. So there's a whole list. I wrote a book
Mhm.
called um, my son reminded me that, Mom, you did that a long time ago. I know, but
Still
the
valid.
it's still valid today. Um, yeah, this is experiments through the five senses and beyond. And so it talks about all the different levels of ways you can use color.
Mhm. Well,
Yeah,
wasn't Dinshaw all of his work just because it wasn't accepted, just kind of dismantled? And his sons had to put it together?
his laboratory and
Mhm.
all his equipment was all burned down.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Mhm.
Um, when I was talking to Steve Ross at the ARE conference, he said they only have a few of the original book that Dinshaw had written. They only have a few copies left. So back then, I had to go to a payphone and I
Uh-huh.
called and I got the three sets. It
Oh,
was a three-set book,
mhm.
and I got all it's intense and involved, and his sons had done a great job of condensing it down and making it easy to use. But their dad had done great research in it, so and Darius is still working today, and it's fun to talk to him. And I think there were three brothers, and they're in Malaga, New Jersey.
Hmm. Okay.
Yep.
Was so lucky to have these sons to like save his research and do it, right? Put it together.
Yes. Yeah. And so I just keep talking about color because it's such uh, a simple yet complex system for your whole well-being.
Mhm.
Um, it's just how do I describe it? Well, the filters don't deteriorate. There's
Mhm.
no time limit. Once you get this, you always have it,
Right.
and you just keep changing the light, changing the person, changing your energy in your room. Yeah, just
It's like shungite, that once you get a piece, it lasts 100 years or more. You
you
pass
mean
it
this?
down. Oh, no, I'm
Yeah.
just saying yeah, but just the concept rather than herbs. Do you know what I mean? Some of these they're just long lasting. So that's like a great thing that you,
Yeah, well, like it would be like malachite or lapis lazuli,
all of
the
them.
blue stones and the green stones, they still have a frequency, and it's all about frequency.
Because stone medicine goes into that about the different color, that book that woman, Chinese woman put together, like about the stones with their colors, you know?
Right, right, exactly.
Mhm.
So Dinshaw works with light, and I even use it on if the person isn't in the room, I just put this color over the person's picture.
Oh, that's a good one.
It's a radionics,
Right.
becomes a radionics device. And so it's broadcasting color to the person's picture.
I just thought of that, like on how Acres back that farm magazine and that to get rid of pests.
Uh-huh.
Probably you could douse the color of the pest you wanted to get rid of and then have that picture, like your garden or, that area.
Mm-hmm.
And then just through this process, yeah, radiate that color on there.
Yes. And there's some glasses that you can get that will show you how the frequency of your garden changes by broadcasting different colors to your garden.
There's somewhat.
Glasses.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Yeah.
So
So
with the glasses, you can actually see it? What do you mean?
I don't remember now the details of it. I've got, back in my files,
Right. And there
I
are
have the article, and it was from Acres.
okay.
Um, and then there's the woman in Long Beach, California,
Mhm.
called Irlen, Irlen, and she started researching with people's eyesight. And so she would take a color.
Mhm.
Early on, it was mostly in the yellow tones. And she would put this over a page somebody was reading,
Mhm.
and the words popped off the page so they could see.
Oh,
Whereas their regular eyes did not, it was hard to read. And by putting this filter over the page,
mhm.
they were able to read. She's still in business. I was introduced to her, I don't know, 20 years ago.
Mhm.
She's still in business, and now she has prescription lenses, and they wear the glasses of the color that they need in order to read.
I was just at the eye doctor today for the annual eye checkup, and
Mhm.
I noticed on the glasses they had, there was a whole row of them with orange lenses, which I had never seen before. I wonder if that's kind of coming, you know what I mean? It was because usually there's the shaded ones and the different ones, but there was a whole row of orange lenses.
Yeah, one way to test for that or try it is go to the drugstore, the dime store, Target or whatever. Dime store was vintage. Um, and try the different sunglasses that they sell. They're just $2.
Mhm.
And see if any of them will help you read more or how it makes you feel. So the sunglasses can change your mood. Um, and all those sunglasses are just plastic lenses, but they can change your environment.
Yeah, it's how you're viewing the world.
how you're viewing the world. So if you're feeling down in the dumps, go to the dollar store now and see which sunglasses, quote sunglasses, help you, are good for you.
Have you
Yeah.
done any research, like, because so you were saying to put the flowers out, the colors with the water out in the sun? Have you done any research with putting it out in the moon?
I had a client in Vermont that was doing that and working with moon water.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So she was doing it, well, like tonight would be the perfect, well, tonight is a full moon.
Mm-hmm.
I'm on the 29th of September. So she would put it out for a full moon
Mm-hmm.
and get full moon water. So she was combining her technique, shall we say,
Mm-hmm.
and she was using the color and the moon energy. And then, like you said, she tested it, she doused it to see what her clients needed. And
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
yeah, but yeah, she's the only one I know that I've communicated with.
And what's her
That
name?
is Diane Wilson.
Oh, okay.
I can't remember her website, but
Mm-hmm.
yeah. So we still stay in touch, and she still gets colors from me, and yeah. One of the fun talks I gave was to conference in Sedona, no, Scottsdale,
Mm-hmm.
and I had an audience of naturopaths. And when I talked to them about using the yellow water for constipation, they went, "Oh, goody. We can use it," because they were having lots of patients with constipation.
Mm-hmm.
Naturopaths prefer natural ways.
Mm-hmm.
And so they could take what looked like a bottle of water, like this, and bring it into the room, and nobody would know it was yellow water.
Right. Well,
And so they could use that with their clients.
Mm-hmm.
And so I had, I mean, the room just lit up when I mentioned that, the issue with constipation. So
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
it was a big issue, and they were in their hospital part of their program. So
Mm-hmm.
it was fun for them. Yeah.
It's so extensive, the use of this,
Right.
I mean, you could even, like how my tomatoes are doing good this year, I could like get the right color to boost them also and see. And
Yeah. Or you can tell Carl Bracey's joke. No.
What is that? I forgot
mooning, mooning, mooning the tomatoes so they turn red.
Hey.
Yes. So let's see, what else did I want to cover? You can influence if you've got, if you have chickens or horses or cows or sheep or whatever, goats. You can do work with them with
Or
color.
house pets.
Pardon?
Or house pets like dogs and cats.
Yes, yes.
I mean, you could filter the water they drink.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Or you could shine it on their stall, or,
That would be like acres when getting rid of fleas, like they would do certain frequencies to get rid of fleas and stuff like that. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, get bugs, aphids.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And some of the other colors are more for an attractor. I mean, you would want ladybugs if you had aphids in your garden.
Mm-hmm.
Ladybugs come in, and if there was a color that ladybugs were attracted to, shine that on your garden, and the ladybugs come in and they eat the aphids.
This is one of those things I've sort of forgot about. I've got the whole set of colors that Sue sells. And yeah, have to get back into this color frequency.
Yeah. Well, it's years and years and years of research. And when I read the book, Finding of the Third Eye by Vera Stanley Alder, and from the library, and I was, at the time I was living at the beach, and would sit out in the front of because I was right on the ocean. It was my treat to myself. And I could see green, my hands. There was green light around my hand. It was so weird. Yeah.
You mean when you held it up to the ocean?
No, it was, when I held my hand over the book, I could see a green energy around my hands. Yeah. 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 So it's an interesting experience. And I do have, if you can see that, this is how at which part of the body you want to put certain colors. So this is how the book is broken down. So you can see the different areas you want to shine the color on. Yeah.
But I think the whole idea that you discovered about the flashlight is like really like valuable information, And
yeah.
How the light bulbs in our environment are really affecting us.
Well, somebody passed a law that we have to use LED lights now. And I don't know if that's only California. I don't know. But I know it's difficult to get an incandescent bulb these days. And if you're going to be using a plastic filter, you don't want a light bulb over 40 watts. And those are light bulbs that are used in refrigerators. So, because anything warmer or larger melts the plastic filters. But what the LED lights do is distort the color. So if you're going to be shining light on, that's why I looked it up yesterday, found an incandescent flashlight.
Right.
You want an incandescent bulb when you shine these lights, because LED messes it up, and I don't have all the technical terms for that, but you want to know that incandescent bulbs are clean light, not fluorescent lights either.
Right.
Being under fluorescent light is extremely difficult on the body.
There's been so much research on that.
Yeah.
I remember,
it's got
but with street lights, there was a whole thing about the kind of bulbs they used in the color of the light, how it would like discourage people from hanging out, for like kids and gangs and all the stuff they were looking at. They were really gotten sophisticated of the kind of lights they would use and the colors they were shining on.
Yeah, I think it's the purple light that they shine, and it's calming. They found that when they were using the sodium street lights, they were, we're second chakra here. So we're right in that center of activating your sexual
sex, money, and power.
Right. And so this is where the gangs were hanging out. What happens when you have a street light that's sodium based? It's everything turns orange.
Oh, okay.
And so it attracts gangs
Mm-hmm.
and hostility and fighting and all that. And how that came about is a friend of mine had a guy she knew that was in jail,
Mm-hmm.
and he was a little advanced. He was studying chakras. And what he realized that when they shut the lights out at night,
Mm-hmm.
he had a sheet of color.
Mm-hmm.
And when the the yard lights come on, and they were the sodium lights, everything turned orange.
Oh.
So he wrote to her, Virginia, and told her about what he found out about the colors, how the colors went orange
Mm-hmm.
on his color sheet.
Wow.
So that makes you think of what happens in some of these neighborhoods. I know Long Beach, California was going sodium lights, and I think they've changed because they found out what was happening in the neighborhoods. And so what happens when you're shining a light where the chakras turned orange,
Mm-hmm.
so do all the cars. So how do you give a description of the
Oh, I see.
clothing
It
somebody's
was a
wearing,
practical, yeah.
or what color car were they driving
Mm-hmm.
when all the colors melded?
Mm-hmm.
So that was sort of a self-defense mechanism to get it out of there, because you couldn't describe the perpetrator
Uh-huh.
because he'd gone sort of orange. They
Mhm.
all went, yeah.
I remember somebody wrote that book way back, Drunk Tank Pink.
Oh, yes.
And it was about hot pink and how they started painting the walls pink, hot pink at some of the prisons.
Yes. They did research on colors and violent prisoners.
Mm-hmm.
They found a color, and it was called bubblegum pink.
Oh, yeah.
And they would put the violent prisoners in this room painted bubblegum pink,
Mm-hmm.
and they would calm down. Now, they could not leave them there very long because they'd flip back.
Oh, okay.
So it was,
And it would agitate them. So it would
and
calm
then it
them
would agitate.
and agitate them. Mm-hmm.
So only a short period of time they could be in the quote bubblegum pink. That pink was the paint color was quite expensive to buy, but if you're dealing with a rowdy person,
Mm-hmm.
it was their solution. And that, what a way to solve the problem.
So, I mean, it's like the police and stuff like been on all of this. I mean, with the lights and the color of the walls
Right.
and the,
Right.
yeah.
Well, notice if you've been around a hospital or even seen ambulance drivers or nurses in whatever color that they wear when they're in the hospital these days, they're not in white.
Right.
There used to be a time when they all wore white, and now they're wearing the blue or the green.
Yeah, I see like turquoise aqua a lot and on them. Yeah.
And they've even gone to painting the rooms of the patients in those colors to keep them calm.
Mm-hmm.
So there's lots of, shall we say, subtle ways that colors used
Well,
that
I
we
mean,
don't
it's like they
think
have
about.
the knowledge that just isn't being shared.
That's the trouble. They don't share it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but you will notice that the nurses or assistants or whatever they are in the hospitals are now wearing that. They're, what do they call them? Anyhow, the outfits that they sell for them are
Mm-hmm.
the blues and the greens. Oh, some of them have kitty cats on for Halloween.
Oh, thank God they're getting rid of those. Those are going by the wayside.
Right.
I,
Yeah. So,
well, this was
Yeah.
like fascinating, Sue. You gave so much information. And so when this video is posted, underneath I'll give how they can contact you, because then they can get the color filters, right?
they can get the color filters. It comes in a set.
Mhm.
Let me show you. I can show. Where are they? Oh, right here.
Well, that's good.
So they come in a set like that.
Okay.
And that's all the 12 colors that are in the book. And
then you have the color book that you wrote on that they can order, right?
they can order my book
And the Dinshaw one, or that's
and the
available?
Dinshaw one.
And the Dinshaw one.
Yep.
And this
So-
is the one where it's all been condensed, because mine is really thick.
Yeah, this is the condensation of, well, like I originally got the 3-volume book.
Yeah.
I mean, I had, so this is condensed. And what this one does, it really does go through all the different ways that color, multiple ways of color being used. You take care of crying babies. One of the stories I have was a client had, Christopher was 5 or 6, and she was putting him in red jammies and couldn't get him to bed before 10 o'clock. And I said, well, try other colors pajamas. And when she got to blue pajamas, then she could get him down at 7 or 8 at night. So the colors of the children. And so the colors you paint their nursery, the colors of their toys, all that is impactful.
I remember the Steiner's, the Waldorf schools, they paint the walls of each room for grade level. So like as you go through, that's all written up. I think it's called losering, where and then the paint, they layer it. It's like translucent layers on layers, and they get this color. And then as the kids get older, they're a different color. And so when you first come in, by painting it like this way with these layers, they can actually see the aura of the teacher.
Oh, interesting.
It's really an interesting one, yeah. So, well, this was good, and we'll list all of this. Thank you, Sue. This was a lot of good information, like practical. And
that's what we need, right? In today's world.
And simple, you know what I mean, and all of that kind of thing. It doesn't take a lot of room. So
right, and like I said, the color filters. Well, you can tell by the fingerprints on here.
As I said, Sue, clean those fingerprints.
How, some of these I've had. I've been doing this since late 1980s. So, we're talking 33 years.
That magical number.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Okay. So thank you. This was great, as usual.
Thanks for having me, Carol.
Okay, and we'll see all of you in a week or two. So thanks again, Sue.
You're welcome. Bye.